This is the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on December the 2nd, 2016. Our time is 8:48 Mountain. Radio show runs Sunday afternoon at 3 on 630 CHED. If you ever miss a radio show, there are so many different ways you can listen to us. Online on Harold's two websites, HESradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, podcast through iTunes. We're also on TuneIn. We have our own YouTube page, and now on Apple Music via 630 CHED. So lots of different platforms to catch our radio program. Connect with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. We'll talk about diamonds in detail. There were two auctions this week overseas, and we'll talk about those in the second half of the show. Our featured diamond is a 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense yellow green. This is a beautiful diamond with yet, here we go again, another stunning, just absolutely gorgeous color. See it online, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week. As we tape today's show, U.S. job numbers coming out in the United States. They actually gained 178,000 jobs. The expectation was 180, and their unemployment rate down to 4.6%. It had been expected to stay around 4.9. We don't know the labor participation report rate at this point, but usually it seems to hang in there at about 94 million. 94 million people in the United States out of the workforce completely. Now that number is the lowest since 2007, 4.6. In Canada, we gained 10,700 jobs, and the unemployment rate went from 7 to 6.8%. Some of the interesting notes of the week. Venezuela, for the month of November, their currency, and it's called the Strong Bolivar, was down 55%. Yes, they have an extreme economic, political, and humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. They're down 55%, the Bolivar, for the month of November. Also in the United States, U.S. debt right around Black Friday was just tipping up to $20 trillion. You heard right, $20 trillion. And one of the big events is this weekend. On 60 Minutes on Sunday, they interviewed the Prime Minister of Italy. His name was Matteo Renzi, and he has been in office 2 years. He is trying to reform the political system there. Now, here in Canada, we have an appointed Senate. In the United States, they have an elected Senate, and we have approximately in the United States around 100 people. You know how many senators they have in Italy? 900. And Renzi's like, we can't get anything done. And he wants to have 100 people as senators and have them appointed. Now, Italians go to the polls on Sunday in a referendum with the stakes being very high. As Renzi says, if he loses, he's leaving. So traders are very, very concerned, although it seems that as things stand right now, people are going to vote against his reform, so it won't be too much of a surprise, similar to Brexit or Trump getting elected. But the bigger problem is, if this happens, Harold, they're actually saying, and we talked about it on last week's show, that that investor from the movie, The Big Short, saying that the banks in Europe are screwed. They're saying 8 banks in Italy could be insolvent in a political crisis should people vote in a way that surprises the market. So we will have to wait and see what happens in Italy with their referendum. We have a story in our newsletter this week about the Italian banks, and 8 of them, according to the Financial Times, could become insolvent. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out. What happened this week with the Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar, and gold and silver?
Well, it's actually a very active week, especially for gold and the U.S. dollar. In fact, gold plummeted this week. We're looking right now that gold in the past 30 days has actually dropped $121. $121 in 30 days. So right now we're trading right at approximately 1175. We were down actually to 1166 this morning, which is, believe it or not, heavy support in gold at 1166. So we've actually hit that price 3 times within this last week, and the market has basically slightly bounced off it. No doubt in my mind that the price of gold is going lower. We started shorting gold and putting out an alert to short gold at $13.80. We picked up over $200 on the downside of gold, which is a hell of a lot of money. So basically at this point here, the markets are doing exactly what we felt that they would do. U.S. dollar is going to continue to gain strength, and the gold market is going to drop. There's a direct correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar. As the U.S. dollar gains more and more strength, the gold market will fall further and further. However, there is heavy support in gold, and it's not like it was back in the 90s when the U.S. dollar was at a similar situation to what it is right now. Back in the 90s, we actually had the strongest currency where the U.S. dollar was trading right at around the 110 to 112 level, which is about the highest price that the U.S. dollar has ever gone to. At that point, when the U.S. dollar was at its strongest level, gold was at $250. So you can see that a very strong U.S. dollar is not good for gold, and gold was all the way down to $250. Now, it was at that particular point in the year 2000 that we started to see changes in the currency markets. And I saw an opportunity that the U.S. dollar was going to start to fall. So that was a tremendous opportunity to start to buy gold. And when we first recommended gold on HED Radio back in 2000, the gold market was at $250, and nobody was a believer. Nobody felt that gold at that point was going to take off because it's been in the doldrums for so many years. In fact, nobody was even talking about gold. We felt at that point that gold was a great investment and started recommending that to our clients and listeners to the radio show. When gold went from $250 to $300, people started paying attention. When it went to $400 to $500, all of a sudden people really started to listen. Then it went to $700, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. By 2011, gold had gotten all the way to $1,920, the highest price it ever hit. We literally hit the biggest bull market in U.S. history in the gold market. And many of our clients that took our advice and bought physical gold made fortunes in that market. Now, in 2011, what happened is that the U.S. was trying to go through a recovery, and gold trading at almost $2,000 was signaling that there was no way that that recovery was actually happening. And that's when we saw the skullduggery and the manipulation of the market, where they went into the market, the exchanges where gold is traded in New York and Chicago, and they raised the margin requirements 5 days in a row, made it so expensive to trade gold that it chased all the speculators out of the market, and the market fell from $1,900 all the way down to $1,100, actually down as low as $1,050. So that's what happened to the gold market. During that particular time, when gold hit $1,900, the highest price it's ever hit, the U.S. dollar was all the way down to 72 cents. So there's your correlation again. Gold at record levels, U.S. dollar at its lowest level of 72 cents. Now we're back up to 101, almost 102 in the U.S. dollar, which means that gold should be dropping, and that's exactly what it is doing. But this time, it's different because there's heavy support in gold at 1,050, which is where the market started at the beginning of the year. Why most people were bullish on gold at the beginning of the year was because gold went from 1,050 all the way up to 1,380. And at 1,380, there was heavy resistance at 1,380, and that's when we put out a sell signal on gold because we felt that things were going to start to change short term. So again, at this point here, you can definitely see the correlation between gold and the U.S. dollar. But what's important this time is that when the U.S. dollar hit its highest level in the 90s, gold was at 250. When we hit our highest level, which could happen within the next year, we could be at 110, 115, maybe even higher than that. I don't think gold's going to go lower than $900. So we could literally see gold 4 times as expensive during this time than we did back in the 80s. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. Again, the reason that gold is dropping at this point, it's a short-term situation. We don't trade gold. We buy and hold it. What we're looking for at this point is another opportunity to buy lower-priced gold. And I think that's going to happen within the next few months. And then we may look at the opportunity again and see that possibly gold could separate from the U.S. dollar. There was one time that it did that back in the early 80s, and when we saw interest rates go all the way to 22%. Now, what we are going to see, we're not going to see 22% interest rates, that's for sure, but what we are going to see is about a 0.25% interest rate hike in December. There's no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. That should push the U.S. dollar higher. It should break out of the 102 level and go to about 103.5. It's very, very important that you understand the currency markets, because everything that we do revolves around the currency markets. Now, while the U.S. dollar is getting stronger, it's getting stronger against a basket of foreign currencies. And those foreign currencies are the euro, the British pound, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, the Australian currency, and the Japanese yen. So when the U.S. dollar is going up, when you hear on the financial news that the U.S. dollar is up, it's against all those currencies. And the fact is that if the U.S. dollar is going to continue to be the reserve currency, which it will, and it's going to hit the levels that I believe it is going to hit, then other currencies are going to suffer. And one of those currencies, unfortunately, has been the Canadian dollar. And please, in no way, shape, or form, believe that I'm trashing the Canadian dollar or anything about Canada. I'm Canadian by birth, very proud to be Canadian, still a big fan of the Maple Leafs and Blue Jays and Raptors and everything. Everything Canada is good to me. But we have to be real about this at this point here and realize that the fact is that the economy in Canada right now is in a tough situation. The oil market, even though it rallied strong this week, is still suspect to lower prices. And on top of that, with the real estate situation in Toronto and in Vancouver, it scares me a bit because we could see a downturn in the real estate market because those two cities put a 15% tax on speculation in real estate from foreign investors. So that does concern me. The C-15 bill concerns me tremendously. So again, as a realist and somebody who analyzes markets and gives that information to my clients so they can prosper by it, that's what we do here. So the fact that the Canadian dollar is going to go lower, that's an extremely important situation for us because we don't want to be caught with all of our money in a weak currency. Look what happened in Britain with the Brexit exit, the Britain exit from the European Union. They lost 25% in one single day. The amount of millionaires in Britain has dropped so substantially because they got caught off guard and didn't do anything about it. Well, we're not going to let that happen. In fact, we've been saying for the last 4 to 5 years that this is a move to make. Get into the U.S. dollar and get out of Canadian dollar-based investments at this point. And it's worked out to be tremendously well. We have private investments. We're in the alternative asset business. But my company allows our Canadian clients to invest with us in private deals in U.S. dollars that is not only making a fortune in the currency market, but also making a fortune in our actual investments. Some of our investments are returning over 25% a year, and some are doing even better than that. So again, if that's a benefit to you, and I can't see how it couldn't be, you would be smart to contact us. I speak to about 40 or 50 clients, new clients a week that want to know what to do with their money because they're petrified. There's no way in the world that we're going to be able to retire with 1% or 0.5% and soon to be negative interest rates in the bank, which are definitely coming. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to retire or have a comfortable life unless you're willing to make a move and get out of the stock and commodity markets, basically, where 90% of the people lose their money and start to get into more realistic investments that will give you a chance to do well. And that's exactly what we have going on. We have investments that are private to my company where you could basically be our partners in certain deals, and some of our clients are making well over 25% a year, plus making a fortune on the currency. So give me a call and I'll show you how we're doing that. Again, you'll never retire with your money in retirement savings plans. There's not a chance in the world that that will happen. Most of my clients are so disillusioned with not making any money in the last decade that, again, we have other programs that will do much better for you. Again, at this particular point, I see the U.S. dollar going substantially higher. I see the Canadian and other currencies falling substantially. We've seen a $121 move in gold on the downside in the last month, and we're about the only company that caught that. So again, at this point, it's time to be extremely cautious. These are not your fathers and grandfathers' markets. These are markets that most people have never experienced before. When the markets get in trouble, the government jumps in and manipulates them. You need to know what you're doing if you're going to be able to keep your money. When you go into an investment today, the first and foremost is capital preservation, making sure you're not going to lose your money. Second is capital appreciation, where you're going to make a return on your investment. If you put your money in the bank, you're losing money every single day, and your money is in trouble if you keep over $100,000 in the Canadian bank. If you don't know about C-15, you need to call me so I can explain it to you. It's something that could change your life in a very dramatic way if you're not up to date on what the new banking laws are in Canada. So, again, Randy, at this point, the markets broke through 1,200. Once it broke through 1180, the market fell substantially this week and got all the way down to 1166. In fact, the low today, and just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, the low in the market is 1166.50. There's very heavy support in the market at 1166. So how ironic is it that the market comes down and touches that price, and it's up about $5 or $6 from the lows we saw today. So I'm very comfortable with what's happening in the market. I've traded these markets for over 35 years and have made some tremendous predictions. We actually caught from the low to the high the biggest bull market in history, which was the run-up in gold and silver, and I don't think there's anybody else that could say that they captured that whole move. We did it on HED Radio right in front of everybody's eyes, and I'm very proud of the fact that that's the information that we've been able to give to our Canadian clients. It's tough right now. There's no doubt it's tough to make money, but we're doing a great job at this point, and again, because we're not going into the type of investments that everybody else is in. In fact, we don't want anything to do with stocks or mutual funds. 90% of the people that trade in those markets lose their money. Why in the world would we ever recommend that to our clients? We have alternative assets, alternative investments that are doing tremendous, and they're all in U.S. dollars, and they're going to get stronger because U.S. dollars going higher and the Canadian dollars going lower, and that's something that we need to take advantage of.
This is the number to call if you'd like to speak with Harold, personally, privately, 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. And Harold is right. In this environment, a lot of people sitting back and asking the question, how do I put myself in a position where I can retire someday? It's very hard to retire in the financial world we find ourselves in. Everyone is very, very concerned. Lots of questions. Harold, he has a lot of answers. And if you'd like to speak with him, call 1-800-432-1022. Find out about the programs that he has in place to help you make money today. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. RareColoredDiamonds.com, the website, 1-800-432-1022. Our featured diamond of the week, and this is a beauty, is a 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense yellow green. The color on it is spectacular. We'll talk about some events overseas, some auctions with Christie's and Sotheby's coming up in the second half of the show. But right now, go and take a look at RareColoredDiamonds.com, featured diamond of the week, that beautiful, fancy, intense yellow-green diamond. One of the things that we have warned people about is the housing market in Canada, and that's something that Harold touched on. Now, in Vancouver, they did institute a 15% tax on those foreigners that are coming in and buying homes. Also, a 1% tax if the home is left empty. Now, they haven't done anything in Ontario or Toronto yet. They have left things the way they are. But in British Columbia, they did institute that tax. Now, one of the great concerns that people have is about the housing market in Canada, in particular Toronto and obviously Vancouver. And one of the big concerns is insolvency for the banks if things start to go bad. Story in our free weekly newsletter. Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. Connect with him. RareColoredDiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. Canada's banks could see significant losses if the housing market turns. Canada's bank regulator warned on Monday that lenders could face significant losses if housing markets turn in the event of an economic downturn, and emphasized the need for stringent underwriting practices. Canada's banks faced heightened scrutiny due to the mortgage underwriting practices as authorities try to tackle the potential threat of the housing bubble in Vancouver and Toronto, where prices have soared. And the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions very concerned about what is happening in Canada, about the underwriting of mortgages, in particular Vancouver and Toronto. And if there was a pronounced or prolonged economic downturn, it would have a meaningful impact on the housing prices here in Canada. That would translate into significant losses for lenders and insurers. One of the other stories to affect us here in Canada, almost half of Canadian homeowners would run into trouble if they lost their jobs. Manulife survey says an emergency fund is meant to be there in times of need, but a new survey suggests nearly half of Canadian homeowners would be ill-prepared for a personal financial dilemma such as a job loss. The poll released by Manulife Bank finds that 24% of those surveyed don't know how much is in their emergency fund, 14% have not put away any funds, and 9% have access to $1,000 or less. The remainder of those surveyed have up to $10,000 saved, with the average amount being $5,000. So one of the things Harold has always advocated, and I've been right behind him and I agree with him, that is pay off your debt. Pay off your debt, and that's one of the concerns we have here in Canada, high debt loads. The other thing is have a little bit of an emergency fund for yourself, and obviously put your investments in a place where they can profit and protect from what's happening in the world financially and geopolitically. If you would like to learn more, definitely speak with Harold Siegel. That's the reason we do this show, so we can put you in a position where somewhere down the line you can retire. And Harold takes calls, as he says, from many radio listeners every week. And you can connect with him at 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. His website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And our featured diamond of the week is a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense yellow green. The color on this is beautiful. See it? Featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. And we're going to come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial and diamond expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping our show on December the 2nd, 2016. Our time is 9:14 Mountain. Radio show runs every Sunday afternoon at 3 on 630 CHED. Of course, we move around a bit due to the Oilers schedule, but if you ever miss a radio show, we're on Harold's 2 websites, archived 24/7 for you. You can stream them, rarecoloreddiamonds.com and also HESradio.com. And we have a podcast. We're on your portable device. Check out iTunes. Type in The World Financial Report on Radio. You will find us there. Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022. The website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Our featured diamond of the week. And here's another diamond with just an outstanding color. It's a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense yellow green. You have never seen a diamond like this. This yellow green is stunning. Go take a look. Featured diamond of the week, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. There were 2 sales during the week. One for Christie's in Hong Kong and one for Sotheby's in Hong Kong. And we also have in our free weekly newsletter other information on the diamond market. The Los Angeles Museum is displaying rare colored diamonds. And it was interesting to note this week that Katy Perry, she was seen sporting a big, and this is a beautiful diamond. We have a picture of it, beautiful yellow diamond. And they say that it was given to her by her boyfriend, Orlando Bloom. And she was seen wearing this big yellow diamond. You can see that in our free weekly newsletter. We also have a story on Shirley Temple, and we'll get to that after Harold does his commentary on the diamond market. But Harold will run through some of the auction results after your commentary. But it was a very good result for Christie's in Hong Kong. They had some very nice moves. In fact, just to tease people a bit, lot 2079, a superb colored diamond and diamond ring by Mosaev, and it was set with a marquee cut fancy vivid blue diamond weighing 4.29 carats. The estimate on it was $9.7 million, went for $11.8 million. So the year of the blue diamond, Harold, continues on.
You better believe it. Probably one of the greatest returns on investment ever has been in blue diamonds, especially these past couple of years. You know, the thing is that it wasn't that long ago, it was in 2005, that vivid blue diamonds were selling at auction when they would come up. Again, you're talking one of the rarest diamonds in the world. That's why they command these type of amazing prices. But back in 2005, the auctions were showing, you know, important vivid diamonds selling at about $200,000-$300,000 a carat. Now they're up to $4 to $5 million a carat with no end in sight. Blue diamonds turn blue because of boron in the ground. Otherwise, it's the same composition as a white diamond. But the fact that that diamond has turned blue has made it worth hundreds and hundreds of times more valuable than a white diamond. So blue diamonds have done extremely well. We've got a situation coming up in pink diamonds. 95% of the pink diamonds in the world come from the Argyle mine, and that mine is going to close in less than 3 years, closer to 2 years now. And anybody owning a pink diamond, I believe, is going to do tremendously well. They're one of the best investments you could ever make. You own them, we ship them directly to you, and then we have our own auction business, and down the road we'll sell those for you. The next big trend in diamonds is in green diamonds. We're starting to mine green diamonds and allowing our clients to partner with us on some of these parcels. We just unearthed one of the rarest green diamonds ever found. It's 19.5 carats, and it appears that it's going to be cut down to a 12-carat deep green worth about $2 million a carat, or down to a 10-carat vivid green, which could sell for $3 million a carat. So again, we just purchased a rough diamond that's almost 20 carats, and it's a very, very deep green. It's one of the rarest diamonds in the world, and we're accepting partnerships on that. And again, this is one of the investments that we talk about. You'll be able to invest with us as partners, and it's all done in U.S. dollars. So it's a very, very exciting situation. Most of our clients that are invested in those programs with us are extremely excited and doing extremely well. Orange diamonds are becoming extremely rare and extremely popular, and that's another trend. So what we try to do here at my companies is to look for trends that are substantial, that last many, many years, that will give our clients a chance to make a lot of money. The best one was obviously what happened back in 2000 when we recommended gold at $250 and it went all the way up to $1,900. That was one of the biggest bull markets ever in history, and that was a market that we caught from top to bottom. On top of that, silver went from under $3 all the way up to $50. We also caught a run in oil at one time from $18. It was a multi-year rally, but it went all the way up to $150. So that's what we try to find, is runs in the market that are either very much undervalued or very much overvalued, and then we look to take a position in that market and try to make some money with it. So it's been going extremely well. We've picked some huge markets over the last few years. Blue diamonds have, again, gone from $200,000 to over $4 million a carat. We anticipate the same thing will happen with pinks, and we anticipate the same thing will happen with greens and oranges. if you want to learn more about that and see our private investment programs where you could literally be our partner on some of these deals, by all means give me a call and I'll explain everything to you. We just purchased a 19.5 carat green diamond that is off the charts rare and going to be a fortune for all of our clients. So again, we're just ecstatic about that. The featured diamond this week is one of the rarest diamonds you'll ever see. All you have to do is look at the color of this diamond and understand how rare this diamond is. You know, white diamonds are used primarily for jewelry, 99.9% of them. But the odd time, a very rare white diamond will come onto the market. A D flawless white diamond is the only type of investment white diamond that you want to buy. On top of that, there's some that are extremely rare because of their clarity and how much nitrogen is in the diamond. But all in all, these extremely rare diamonds are amongst the best investments that you can make. We're extremely excited about what's happening in the diamond market right now.
Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022. 1-800-432-1022 to speak with him about investing in diamonds, rare-colored diamonds. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. The most secure and profitable investment, millions of years of the making. Rare-colored diamonds, they really are nature's art. Private, portable, stable wealth. Speak with Harold today about the programs that he has in place, getting into the diamond market. Obviously, there are different ways. There are roughs. They're obviously polished and cut. And our featured diamond of the week is a polished and cut diamond. It is gorgeous. A 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense yellow green. We've had some great colors on the featured diamond of late, and this is just another one of them. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, in our free weekly newsletter, we have auction results from Christie's and Sotheby's Hong Kong. They had sales on the 28th and 29th of November. We talked about lot 2079, and that was the diamond, a blue diamond. Estimate on it, $9.7 million, went for $11.8. There was also lot 2031, an impressive colored diamond ring, set with a rectangular cut fancy vivid yellow diamond, weighing approximately 28.78 carats. The estimate on it was $1.1 million, and the price realized was $2 million, a little over $2 million, $2,028,091. Lot 2026, an important colored diamond ring by Cartier, set with a pear-shaped fancy blue diamond weighing approximately 5.19 carats, flanked by a heart-shaped pink diamond mounted in gold. And this is a diamond ring from Cartier, London. The estimate on it, $906,000, and it went for $1.7 million. Lot 2024, a colored diamond and diamond ring set with a pear-shaped fancy green diamond, weighing approximately 5.1 carats. And the estimate on it was $1 million. It went for $1.25 million. Lot 2030, an important pair of colored diamond and diamond earrings, each set with circular cut fancy vivid yellow diamonds, and the carat weight 5.2, 5.19. The estimate on it, $777,000. The price realized, $940,000. Lot 2029, a colored diamond ring, and this was a fancy yellow diamond weighing approximately 28 carats. The ring size was 5 1/4. The estimate on it, and this is one of those, Harold, I hope you're sitting down. The estimate on it, $259,000. It went for $629,000. So $629,407. And here is the biggest, I hope you're sitting down. Lot 2027, a colored diamond and diamond ring, set side by side with a rectangular cut fancy intense pink diamond, weighing 2.13 carats, and a rectangular cut diamond weighing approximately 2.21 carats, flanked by baguette cut diamonds and mounted in gold, the ring size 6. The estimate on it, $129,547 US. The price realized when the hammer dropped, $551,703. So that was a massive winner. In our final lot 2028, a colored diamond and diamond ring set with a rectangular cut fancy vivid yellow diamond weighing 5.10 carats, and the estimate on it, $259,094 US. Price realized, it was $349,671. But some real winners there, Harold, when we had in lot 2027, 129 to 551,000. Then you had lot 229, the estimate on it, 259,000, 629,000. There were some very nice gains at Christie's Hong Kong Magnificent Jewel Sale November 29th, and it was at the HKCEC Hall, the Grand Hall in Hong Kong. If people would like to get those results for Christie's and Sotheby's, we would be happy to send them out to you. But once again, the blue diamonds continue to be very, very popular, and we're still seeing, Harold, we had the Aurora Green sell earlier in the year for a record price. We're seeing green diamonds starting to build in popularity at these auctions as well.
Oh, you bet. I'm just very pleased with that. The results from the auction were phenomenal. And don't think that the people at the, that appraise these diamonds, that sell for way more what the appraisals are, don't think they don't know what they're doing. They do. It's just a sign of the time. The fact is that in Europe right now, things are terrible. Italy's going under. Britain was going under. I mean, we could be without the euro. We could see a total destruction of the Eurozone. With all this going on, the biggest money, investment-wise, is going into diamonds. So if the wealthiest people are buying diamonds, it would make sense for us to do the same thing. Now, not everybody can buy a $5 or $10 or $20 million diamond. In fact, most people don't. Most of the diamonds that are sold are in the $100,000, $150,000 range, and even at auction, those are the ones that are going up the most. Even diamonds that were purchased for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, the returns at auction have been extremely well. So again, we are planning an auction coming up for January. And we'll announce it on the radio and let everybody know, plus email. So if you would like to attend one of our auctions, just email us and we will put you on the list and let you know when our auctions are coming up. But all in all, it's very exciting to see how these assets are selling in the marketplace today. It's just phenomenal.
If you would like to receive our free weekly newsletter with the diamond info, connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Our featured diamond is a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense yellow green. When I saw the color on this, I was like, wow, that is another museum piece. Just absolutely gorgeous. And if you take a look at some of the diamonds we have featured with our featured diamond of the week, one of the most spectacular was about a month ago. It was a 0.68 carat radiant cut fancy green blue, and it had one of the most beautiful colors I think I have ever seen on a diamond. It was absolutely gorgeous. You can ask about that diamond, and you can ask about the 1+ carat radiant cut fancy intense yellow green. Connect with Harold at RareColoredDiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. The website, RareColoredDiamonds.com. One of the stories that has been quite prevalent here recently is on the Argyle mine and pink diamonds. And we had a story in a newsletter about 3 weeks ago on pink diamonds. This week we have a story, Uber Rich prefer pink diamonds. For the Uber Rich, pink diamonds are proving to be a better investment than many other asset classes, according to Coral Swanses, managing director of Brisbane's Xenix Diamonds. And he said some investors spend as much as $250,000 on the rare gems for their self-managed super funds, which would be similar to our RRSP or TFSA here in Canada or RIF. Pink diamonds have increased as much as 30% in value each year for the past 3 years, and are now 50 times more valuable than white diamonds. He said, Rio Tinto has warned supply from its Argyle mine which produces 95% of the world's pink diamonds, will run out in 2020. Demand is increasing, and with supply capped, it's pushing the prices higher. According to Mr. Schwantes, we have a significant number of clients choosing to buy them for investment and retirement purposes. And Harold, that's something that we have heard time and time again. People looking at pink diamonds as an investment for the long term, knowing the Argyle mine, it's shutting down in a matter of approximately, well, here we are, the beginning of December, and we're close to 2017, a matter of roughly 3 years away. And they said that they would probably have a few pink diamonds in their vault for maybe a year or two after that, and then that's it. They're done. So we're looking at definitely within 3 to 5 years, that source of pink diamonds gone from the world, 95% completely gone.
You're 100% right, and this will never, ever, ever happen again. There is no mine in existence that produces 95% of any colored diamond aside from the Argyle mine. So once this is gone, we will never get another opportunity to do this, and this is a no-brainer. This is economics 101. When the demand for a product is high and there's very little inventory, the prices always go higher. So that's the case. There's a huge demand for pink diamonds, and the supplies are so low, and soon we're not going to have any. So this is one of the best opportunities, especially for retirement. You put an Argyle pink diamond away for the next 10 years, and you're talking about an asset that will do nothing but grow in value, more so than almost any asset that you have ever owned. So this is an extraordinary opportunity and an extraordinary situation that you'll kick yourself for not contemplating or considering doing an investment in these type of diamonds. They're just the most beautiful diamonds. They're known as the most concentrated form of wealth on earth. And again, I believe as an investment, second to none. You know, we put our money away in retirement savings, but I don't. You know, I think that it's all a con. I just don't see anybody making money in that market at all. And basically, if you were to put your money away in a diamond as opposed to a retirement savings plan, you would do much, much better. The returns would be substantially higher. So, again, at this point here, we've got an opportunity to make an awful lot of money in the diamond market. The pink diamond market is going to explode because we only have about 2 years left in the market for Argyle pinks. On top of that, we're seeing a huge trend in green and orange diamonds, and we're able to bring those to you, and you can literally be our partners. That's what I've been talking about getting out of Canadian dollar-based investments and investing with us in U.S. dollar-based investments. Our clients are doing tremendously well.
Featured diamond of the week, a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy, intense yellow-green. The website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The telephone number to connect with Harold about this diamond, 1-800-432-1022. Get our free weekly newsletter from Harold. We have a picture of the featured diamond and a link that will take you directly to his website. Now, we have a story on Christie's and Sotheby's, the auctions that they had in Hong Kong during the week. We have auction results for Christie's and Sotheby's. We also have in our newsletter a couple of very interesting stories. Los Angeles Times and the Los Angeles Museum displaying rare colored diamonds. The Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County is set to open Diamonds Rare Brilliance exhibition, and it's going to be featuring a fancy deep grayish bluish, and this is a violet diamond that came from the Argyle mine in Western Australia. Take a look at that story. Also, we have the story about Katy Perry getting and this is a big yellow diamond ring from Orlando Bloom. We have the uber rich prefer pink diamonds, and the story of Shirley Temple. And I wanted to bring this back just as a reminder. We've talked about it on the show before, but it was Shirley Temple's father, and he was clearly ahead of his time when he picked out jewels, as he got, and this was for her 12th birthday at the time of the premiere of the film The Bluebird. And they actually picked up a 9.54 carat fancy deep blue diamond ring for Shirley Temple. And it was in early 1940. It was purchased for $7,210, which in today's money would be $122,000. It was up for auction. It did not sell at auction, but after auction, from what we were told, it sold privately. The estimate on it was 25 to 35 million. We believe, obviously, it sold for 25 million plus. So it's an absolute gorgeous diamond ring. You can see a picture of it in our newsletter. Also, a story that I came across this week, Harry Winston and the history of the Hope Diamond. It's a fascinating article about the Hope Diamond. But, Harold, that's the excitement of the diamond world. Not only does it have that investment component, but it has the component of people being able to use it in their everyday life and wear it to different events, as Katy Perry was wearing what they are rumoring to be an engagement ring. She wore this on her left hand and was going to a party, this big, beautiful yellow diamond. You can see it in our free weekly newsletter. But the thing that I really enjoyed the most was finding that story about the Los Angeles Museum featuring rare-colored diamonds. And how many times have we said it's nature's art? What you will see in a museum taking millions of years to make, Mother Nature working for millions of years, creating a diamond the way Picasso would have created a painting, and you're finding it in a museum. And Harold, how many investments do you find in museums? Not many.
That is for sure. And again, diamonds, colored diamonds primarily, they have other benefits. You know, the world is a crazy place right now. Look what's happening in Europe. Look what's just happened in Britain, and what's happening in Italy, and soon to be happening in Greece and Spain and Portugal and possibly Germany and all that. It's very difficult to move wealth. But a diamond could be brought across a border that could be worth $20, $30 million, $10 million, $500,000. You can't do that with cash, and you can't do that with stocks, and you can't do that with gold. So, again, it's known as portable private wealth. In the world we live in today, where there's so many roadblocks and it's so difficult to understand what's happening from one day to the next, the fact is that rare-colored diamonds are a portable private asset that's an alternative asset. It's not a stock. It's not a commodity in the sense you hold it, you own it, and it's just a phenomenal investment. And again, the opportunities to make money are real. So, again, I don't think it could have been at a better time than it is right now.
It's interesting to note 33% of Americans have no money at all saved for retirement. But an even more frightening statistic is the fact that 30% of those 55 and older are in the same boat. They basically would just live on, as they have in the United States, their retirement social programs that they have in place that might add up to $16,000 a year. We have a story about that in our free weekly newsletter. It's something to think about. If you do not have a retirement plan in place, speak with Harold. There are investment opportunities out there where you can be making money today, not sitting in a GIC getting 1%. Our featured diamond is a 1+ carat radiant cut, fancy intense yellow green. See it at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Connect with Harold at 1-800-432-1022. rarecoloreddiamonds.com is the website. And Harold, thank you for another great show and your knowledge, and it was a great week for diamonds.
You bet it was. I wish everybody a wonderful day and a very, very profitable day also. Thanks, Randy. We did a great show today, and I hope our clients and listeners learned a lot today.
Connect with Harold, 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. The website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Now more than ever, educate yourself about having hard assets in your portfolio, that insurance policy you want to profit and protect in the current environment that we're in financially and geopolitically. How do you make money during a Trump administration or a Trudeau prime ministership? Now is the time to speak with Harold and find out. rarecoloreddiamonds.com, 1-800-432-1022. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.